Final Fantasy 15 Multiplayer Expansion, or Comrades, or Comrades, however you wish to pronounce it. This is a DLC that has just come out for Final Fantasy 15, and it's good. In fact, it's more than good. It's great. It is really fun. It's the most fun I've had in a sort of multiplayer expansion of any game in a long time, probably since Mass Effect 3 back in 2012. I've enjoyed it a lot. I don't know how else to say this, really. But as you can see here, there are downsides. The online service is shit. Really, really is awful. From 10 to 15 hours of gameplay when I first played this, I maybe played with 8 or 9 other humans. The rest of the time I was playing with AI companions, which isn't a bad thing because the AI companions are pretty decent. The AI can be a bit janky sometimes, but they're alright. But it's not the same as playing with real people. So that is annoying. Well, it's more than annoying, it's irritating. It made me a bit angry sometimes because the game was delayed quite a few times, and for it to be delayed this many times, and for the developers to be saying that they're doing it to make adjustments and refine the gameplay, but for the servers to be basically unimproved since the beta tests several months ago, it did make me angry. You know, if you don't have a season pass, which I did, because I enjoyed the original game and I knew that I was going to play all the added DLC that came out with it, but if you don't have a season pass, then it's 20 quid. And if you had just paid that, you log into the game and you can't play with any other people. It's called multiplayer expansion, for goodness sake, and if there is no multiplayer, then you could get really pissed off, to be honest. Thankfully, a week later, it does seem to be fixed, sort of. Well, really, relatively, yeah. The quick matchmaking, or the quick game, quick thing, is still broken. It just will try to join you with some other players, and then it will say server error. When you back out of it, it will just say server online. Offline, rather, not online, because that would be good. So yeah, the only way really is to do the sort of custom matchmaking where you either have to create your own camp or you have to join someone else's, and even then it's dodgy. But yeah, the game is a lot of fun. Apart from the issues, I have really enjoyed it. I have enjoyed character creation. The character creation. It's meh, to be honest. It's fun, it's fine. And it is a good sort of added thing, and it is decent. The meh made it sound probably worse than it is. It's just a bit uninspired. It's pretty standard. You start off with almost nothing in terms of personalization, like your clothing and your hairstyles. There's no makeup options for male or female characters. There's no there's 4 scar options. There's no sort of tattoo or face paint or war paint sort of options or things like that. Only a few hairstyles, 4 or 5 hairstyles. You know, so it is basic, but it's fun. It's kind of difficult to make an ugly character, to be honest, in this game. Your characters will always look pretty similar to the standard presets. You have, obviously, sliders for, you know, eye depth, brow width, jaw width, chin height, things like that, but difference between minimum and maximum settings is almost unnoticeable, that all your characters will sort of look a bit similar. Good thing about the character creation is that you can have up to 8, I think. I'm going to say 8. I can't remember exactly, but you can create up to 8 characters. And whilst they don't share levels, so if you have a level 5 character and you start a new one, that new character will be level 1, they do share weapons. So you can have a really high level character, create a new character, and they will have all of your really OP, relatively OP for your level, weapons from the start. And you also keep all of your story progress, what story there is of it, like quests and stuff that are unlocked, will remain unlocked. The only issue with doing that, of starting a lower level character, and going into it like that, is that they will have low health, very low health. Like you start off in about 4 to 300s, depending on what sort of background you choose for your character, whether they're from Lestalem or Altisha or whatever. So doing any high level quests, you'll get knocked out instantly. But yeah, I think it's a good addition that you can create extra characters and not have to worry about all the grind again, which I quite liked. Gameplay wise, it's pretty much the same. You can warp strike, just hold down a button after targeting someone to, attack them. Only difference is, you don't have potions to heal yourself. You have to use a spell, a healing spell, or you have like a damage spell which doesn't really do a hell of a lot of damage, so it's not really worth it. Both of those use MP obviously, and your MP is quite limited at the beginning of the game. It is a fun game. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy, I think it's well worth it. If you have the season pass, it's worth it as well. If you don't have the season pass, then you have to think how likely you are to really play it. And if you're not a fan and you don't have the season pass, then I just wouldn't bother, because it can be a bit of a learning curve, knowing how sort of the game controls and how it plays and getting used to things. So if you haven't really played much of the main game, it might be a bit tough for you, and the grinding can be a bit too much at times, like with all online multiplayer stuff. But other than that, I have really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the better sort of single player game multiplayer add-ons in the sort of AAA gaming space for quite a while, to be honest. There's no microtransactions, there's no loot boxes, which is absolutely great. But yeah, other than my reservations, I really can recommend this. If you're a fan of the main game, I think you're really going to love this. And yeah, this was Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer expansion, and it's great. What else can I say?